Welcome to Shorty's SuperCoach. Hope you guys are going well out there. Shorty's just back from Cairns, been away there for the long weekend. It was good fun. Nice place up there. Weather was bloody nice. I was getting a lot of messages back from home in Geelong saying it was just pouring down rain, freezing back down here, and that was definitely evident when we got off the plane today. I was like, "Ooh, gee, this is not quite walking down Palm Cove with some beautiful palm trees and a bit of sun. It's a long way from that, but it was really nice. I don't know if you guys know Cairns much or not, but Gilligan's is like the main sort of night scene there. I watched a little bit of Aussie Shore once upon a time, and that was like where they filmed it and was the main sort of setup. But yeah, good vibe there. Had a couple of nights there. It was good fun. And then, yeah, probably Sunday was probably the best day. Yeah, went out to Palm Cove and just chilled out, real relaxed vibes, had a nice feed. Yeah, it was good. I reckon it was, probably just what I needed. Because, I was definitely feeling pretty tired towards the end of last week. Just that sort of mid-term kind of vibe. And, great bunch of fellas. Great trip away. A little bit tired, a little bit dusty at certain points throughout the trip. No doubt about that. But, it was nice to kind of break up the school term with a bit of, something a bit fun with a good group. So that was nice. But look, let's get stuck into the side and nothing, it is what it is. This season's a write-off. We're really just, my hope at the moment is to just have a block of like 8 or 9 weeks for the end of the year that I go really well. Because it's too far gone to really have a respectable rank, I think. I mean, if it all came together beautifully, who knows? You could roar your way into around the top 10,000 and maybe people drop off if they trade poorly and that type of thing. But I'm probably more just wanting to have this team not so much ready to rock and roll for the now, because I could have traded better over the last couple of weeks if I want to have the best score for that exact week. But I just want to make sure that we're trading for the best financial return and the best long-term to just hopefully have, particularly coming out of the buys, I just want to have, a really good stretch and have that team complete, and maybe even have some internet that might bloody work. Jesus Christ. I don't know why it does this. It's so weird. Sometimes I've got to like restart my computer just to connect all the, the mic and just have it all recording and all synced in and that sort of thing. But tell you what, my laptop and this internet, it's like an old car. It takes so long to just like warm up. It's like this would never happen when I've had the laptop on for like 10 minutes. But it doesn't matter what I do. I mean, what is going on here? Let's just restart it. SuperCoach. I mean, isn't it? This is great content right now. This is great content. But probably the main thing, I think it's clearly time to bring Zach Butters in. He had a really good week. Still didn't get anywhere near that break even at 197. But and then even Zach Johnson, who I had no real idea who this bloke even is, but he scored quite nicely. Obviously coming in off the back of a lot of injuries to that defensive line at the Bombers. This is just starting to annoy me now, to be honest. Shorty just wants to smash the video and watch a bit of first crack, guys. Come on now. Scored very nicely. And look, the fact is, like I said last week, you bring in Luke Pedler, he goes like crap. Trying to pick a rookie that's going to be good is an absolute lottery. Absolute roulette. So I've got no idea. I've got no business trying to tell you which one's a good one. You just got to try and spread it far and wide and hope that a couple land. And I think Johnson's probably the play because we'll take anything at the moment. But 19-21's what I scored. We still sort of dropped in rank, which is a bit frustrating, but let's have a look at the side. I've already had a look because I wanted to do my MVP votes. Kind of ironic, isn't it? You land the Max Holmes VC and you're like, great move there, Shorty. That's unique. And then you're in that strange position of kind of like barracking against Tristan Cherry. Like you sort of just want a 110 to get full bang for your buck. Didn't happen. So kind of had that great feel. I feel like nailing Holmes as a captain so much better than just going with Cherry. But, got no benefit from that. But I am going to give Holmes the 3 votes for that performance. I'm going to give De Koning the 2 votes because he really returned to some great form, and a lot traded him out. I held him all the way through. A few would have traded him back in, but I held him all the way through, and he certainly repaid the faith. And then Cherry just has to get the one vote. You know, he could argue he's stiff because he scored the most for my whole team, but obviously, you know, it's most valuable player. We want to try and sort of preface what was actually giving my team a bit of value, and I think a unique VC has to get the 3 votes. And Holmesy, he would have polled before, so he gets 3 votes up to 6. And then, of course, we know the 2 rucks. They've polled very nicely throughout. DeConing gets 1 back on Cherry, but he polls as well, so he's on 13. It's going to be hard to catch. So I think it'll be interesting, like, to see how this forms. You know, clearly the top 4, they're starting to sort of move away with Holmes getting the 3. Yeah, there's Dale and Horn Francis. You know, he's obviously not even in my team at the moment. Going to be pretty hard to poll. Hopefully I'll get him back at some stage for a cheaper price. But yeah, Smith being a late withdrawal, that definitely hurt. You know, it would have hurt everyone, but I feel like I'm not as equipped to cover that sort of a loss. So it probably exposed me a little bit. But let's go through this side. So Dale was really good. He's produced a really nice season after a bit of a sluggish start to my side. Holmes, we touched on. Whitfield is frustrating because I really ummed and ahed between him and Ash, and I haven't seen Ash's score, but it looked like he had a lot of the footy. 114, so it's not... He had a lot of the footy at half time. I don't know exactly what's going on with Whitfield. I feel like he's... Well, I hope he's still playing... I didn't see this game. Obviously, there was a time where he played a little bit half forward and that sort of deal. He took a couple of kick-ins, so we'll take that. We'll take that well. Hopefully, we can have a look at his heat map here as well. I'm always confused rolling around this website sometimes. Where's that heat map? I just want to see... Why does it appear like this sometimes? Here we go. I swear you can normally click on that and it comes up a little different. This is some riveting stuff right about now, guys. Does have him posted as mid, but anyway, we'll have a look at that later. But I need him to bounce back, long story short. Sheasel, speaking of bouncing back, he was huge. I think he was on about 30 at halftime. Me and the boys in Cairns were like, get rid of this bloke. He is trash. And then he produced like a 100-point second half. And Clark, he was pretty solid. You know, the ebbs and flows of rookies, and we'll take that from him. Noah Anderson... Very disappointing. He copped a bit of attention, but most disappointing was his 19 disposals, which did cost me a handy little multi. I nailed 7 other legs, but he just needed to get to 20, and Tom Stewart bowled him over with a ridiculously good bump and ruled him out on 19 and 75. Zach Merritt, I hate him off half-back. I didn't like it to start with. I feel like he can still use his beautiful ball skills in the midfield, and he's one of the best inside 50 kicks. I don't know why they moved into half-back. Surely there's other players that can play a similar role. I don't know. I feel like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul with that one. Dacos is he's only just going. You know, he finished well in that last quarter, but again, copped a bit of attention from Langdon, and at times this year he's looked untaggable, and then other times he just hasn't looked like himself. He does not look like the Brownlow favourite. It's bizarre. Like, I feel like he hasn't had an amazing year, but all the talk is that he's leading the Brownlow. Strange. Will Ashcroft had a ripping first half, slowed up a touch, but turned up, which is nice. Luke Davies-Uniacke continues to be one of the most frustrating picks I can even recall selecting, probably ever. And Levi Ashcroft, he'll had his second price drop, but not by much. He'll be the trade to Butters, I dare say, and always fun seeing your boy named the sub. I just needed Marias to just string together a couple of 50s just to get to 280, but we're not going to get to that now, are we, mate? We did finally uncover Lockie Whitfield's heat map, which doesn't look too bad. I mean, there's a fair bit on the halfback flank moving up. If we compare it to a game where he scored 140 against the Crows, like, he's getting a lot more of that switch play there. But yeah, probably Ash is playing more of that deepest distributor role, but I don't think the role's terrible for Whitfield. So hopefully it's okay. Yeah, hopefully he can sort of bounce back. But very frustrating when I saw Marius named the sub, because every dollar is going to count a lot. And I felt like I wasn't asking much, just a couple of 50s, maybe a 65. But a 19 will kill you. So we touched on DeConing and Cherry. Fantastic response there. Smith obviously didn't play. Martin's a quality pick. He's been great. Warner, a couple of goals in that, but didn't quite cash in against the side that I thought he may have. And Rankin as well was just a touch quiet, but not a terrible score. And Kako just, we're still waiting. Like that 120 plus from LDU. I'm just waiting for that game where Kako just scores 75. But it's a long way away. And yeah, Pedler super frustrating. Like, I thought he might have been the saviour, and then the 37, it's just going to stunt his growth, and it probably puts him in a position to be dropped as well. So we'll see what happens there. But and then Vicentini again, like 74 is okay. Honestly, I was stoked that he was just named again, to be fair. But when you come up against a debutant, I was hopeful that maybe he could go 90 plus, but that's okay. 74, I guess you'll take it. Let's take a look at some of these leagues. We only won the 8, but it's better than some other weeks. Nice score there from Barry. Goes bang with the 2021. Cops me there. Another good score there from Callum, or Calum, I think that is. Couple of nice scores there. Stephen, well played. Ashton beats me there. Couple of W's. Oh, close one there. Sharon's just got me on the close one there. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. If you beat me, well played. But you're certainly not alone there. I've had a few people topple me. In terms of my trades this week, I think it's got to be Zach Butters. Like I said in my video the other day, I think it has to be Butters and Bontempelli over the next short period of time. So Butters' break even was 197 coming into this weekend. And Bont's another guy. I feel like he's going to be quite gettable, as opposed to what we once were feeling. So his break even's now 90. This is Zach Butters. So he definitely comes in at 563, which is a far cry from the 700, which some would have paid for. So that's worked out nicely. I was a big believer, even at the time, that they will drop. It's just a matter of how many points you want to miss out on. But they always drop a little bit. I know Gorn's probably proving against that, but it's always weighing it up. You can just pay the money and take the points. But I did say that you probably couldn't pay 700 for all of them. So we had to wait for some. And Bont's going to drop nicely too. Break even at 164. So we're every chance to get him for about 600. So I'm sort of looking at it like we've got for 500k basically in the bank. 11 trades. I think Ashcroft, he goes to Butters. That'll be 160 there. And then, Sarong comes in. So technically my last upgrade would be Marius. You could argue LDU. You could argue Ashcroft aren't exactly top-end premiums, but that's probably a conversation later in the piece. But yeah, Marius to Bontempelli is the hope. That's probably going to cost me 350 grand. So pretty much between Butters and Bont, that's going to be give or take all of my coin there, which would be slightly frustrating. I'm hoping McRae comes back, which again, in theory, would leave me with only needing to upgrade my flex and then my last forward spot, which I feel like could be Horn Francis, who will drop to around 400 off the back of that 22 when he does return, which could be this week. So I'm hoping that this team could come together. That'll be 2 trades. I feel like I could complete this side with 4 to 5 trades if we don't have injuries. Obviously, longer term, Vicentini to Gorn would be ideal, but we're obviously going to have to free up a lot of coin. Like, we're talking probably 300k. So I feel like I can complete all bar the 2 final spots, the F6 and the flex, with the money I have. And then we're probably going to need to, realistically, it's going to be Pedler or Kako to bloody Horn Francis, and then it's going to be Vicentini to whoever, and it might not be Gorn. We might not be able to afford that. It might have to be someone who drops, has a bit of an injury-affected game or something like that. It might not be Gawn, but in terms of, like I said, Johnson, probably got to snap him up. I mean, why not? He's won 13K. He's got a nice break even. Let's take a throw at the stumps and see what happens. Who would the midfield trade be? I think he's only available as a mid. Yeah, so just the mid. Probably, I probably want to get rid of one of these dead rookies and just bank 60K. So it'd probably be Clay Hall. He's the most expensive one. Try and get as much cash as I can. And yeah, you just got to hope that Clark can get his way to... I'm just hopeful at 260 or 270. I'm just hoping that some of these guys can get beyond 260, 270K. Pedler and Kako, and hopefully Vicentini can just get to 360 or 370. Like, I don't even know what his break even is. Hopefully I'd be guessing it's around 40, something like that. 46. So again, we probably need to get another 80 pluser. I mean, he's every chance to get to 350, but yeah, it's not, the price isn't going anywhere too fast. So I think I can complete this side, no doubt about that, but we will need to dodge some injuries. We can't really afford too many injuries because we won't have that many up the sleeve. But yeah, I'll be live on Wednesday, same time as usual, 7 o'clock on TikTok and then 7:45 on YouTube. So yeah, feel free to come along, ask a few questions, do the quiz, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.